one and all, and welcome to a clone-tastic variation of the Brewing Labs. Now, for this deck, our primary card that we're brewing around is, of course, Grey Merchant of Asphodel, aka Gary. And kind of like with the classic Fallout shenanigans, we are trying to make a lot of Garys and cloning them. Now, context here. One of my original iterations of this deck was I was trying to make like a mono black deck where you just splash a little bit of blue just for the Mystic Reflections, and then you use something like Aghadene's Awakening or such, or another way to get multiple tokens on the battlefield, do the Mystic Reflection shenanigans, and make a bunch of Garys, which is hilarious. Haha, fun. I did have problems though with that deck being successful, mostly because we're kind of in a format where you can't go too slow because the aggro is just going to hit you. And if you do try to go into this kind of like combo shenanigans and people can see the combo coming a mile away, they're just going to spot removal it like that. So I did a brew of this where we're actually going to use, as well as Mystic Reflection, we're also going to use Orval the Oral Form. Now, Orval the Oral Form is just whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, if it targets one or more other permanents you control, create a token that's a copy of one of those permanents. Now, specifically here, the reason why we have this in here is because we have ways to protect our quote-unquote pieces of the combo. We have stuff like Spell Shield, as well as Malakir Rebirth being the primary cards. Now, we use these to essentially just Malakir Rebirth, Spell Shield. Spell Shield gives Hexproof, as well as Malakir Rebirth. Well, Malakir Rebirth doesn't give Hexproof, it just mostly makes it where if your creature dies, returns back to the battlefield, which is really beneficial since we have a lot of ETBs. I could see an argument of actually just cutting two of these and playing a full playset of this, but if I'm being honest, the main reason why I'm doing a split here is because one of the primary weaknesses of this deck is exile spells. Like, if your opponent has an exile spell on you, you're kind of in a bit of a pickle. So that's why I kind of like this Hexproofish spell in the deck with the splash of blue, just in case if our opponent like plays an Elspeth Conquer Staff, just a way to automatically cancel any exile targeted spells, or even a Kaya, for example. Now, as for the deck, we also have Blood Chiefs first in the deck, mostly just good removal. We have Thieves Guild Enforcer, because one of the premises you also will see in the deck is we have ways to repeat ETB effects, like with Faucet Deep Dwelling. So, Thieves Guild Enforcer is in here to just have repeatable mill. It also helps that we do have two Glassbowl Mimics that's going to be a copy of any fiend, so, hey, another rogue that synergizes with this. But also, if we have stuff like Mystic Reflection, if we have a way to win with Grey Merchant of Asphodel, it is one of the cheapest flash creatures we have in our color pair, so it's just pretty simple to just Thieves Guild Enforcer, put on the stack, play Mystic Reflection targeting Gary, and then just get a second Gary trigger, you know, stuff like that. We also throw into Stolen by the Fae, also another targeted spell. One thing to keep in mind with the spell, you can actually target your own things. So let's say, for example, you have a hunch that your opponent is going to do like a weird board wipe, or maybe you just want to repeat an ETB, Stolen by the Fae, bounce your Gary, or even bounce your Thieves Guild Enforcer, and at the very least, you're going to get a flyer out of it. Mostly, I would like to only just do it on Gary, though, because getting 5 1/1s, as well as having a Gary in hand, very nice. And, of course, if you have a way to target Mystic Reflection on Gary and then be able to do this, just creating 5 tokens of Gary is absolutely hilarious. Now, we also throw in 2 Volky God of Lies. So technically it is kind of a Grixis deck, but this is mostly in here just either for hand disruption, but later down the line, as long as we can get the red mana, having Tipple is never a bad card. And it's probably still one of my... I think it's either close to my second favorite card in Kaldheim, if I have to make a guess. I still love this card. Anyway, Glassbowl Mimic, as stated before, we have creatures with ETB, so being able to copy them, very nice. We have 2 Solid coming in here just as a typical counterspell to just help us against like more control-oriented matchups. Soul Shatter against any Hexproof shenanigans or any powerful planeswalkers. Poison the Cup as just unconditional removal. Aghadene's Awakening, if a lot of our cards are in our graveyard, as you notice we have 5, 4, a free drop, and a 2-drop, as well as a 1-drop. One of my Magical Christmas Land scenarios is if we can have Mystic Reflection on the stack and Gary's for some reason on the battlefield and Gary's in the graveyard. I do want to make Etz's 5, return even Gary, a 4-drop, a free drop, a 2-drop, a 1-drop, and make all of them Garys. Like, that's the other, like, Magical Christmas Land scenario. If we can get to it, awesome, but we're not totally winning with that. We also throw Sad Robot in here, Solemn Simulacrum. Mostly just because it's just a way to help us fetch for lands and help us ramp, which is nice, and card draw, which is very nice. And if we have Orval on the battlefield or Fasa, just being able to copy this is never bad with like a Spell Shield or Malkael's Rebirth and repeat the ETB effect. Then we have Grey Merchant Asphodel, the main combo piece. We also have 2 Blood on the Snow, just to be careful. That's why we're running in pretty much a primary Snow mana base in our basic land slots. And 2 Into the Story. Now, honestly, I really wanted to just play the Glimmer of Genius with Foretell, but like I said, we're playing more of a control deck. We have a slight mill package to an extent. I think this is the better draw spell in the deck. You could make an argument on this, I will say that, because the Foretell might be a lot better to just be able to fish into another spell and such. But I feel like this is the one that I'm going to finalize within this deck because we're playing control, we're doing a minor mill package, drawing 4 cards is better than Scry 2, draw 2. And especially since we're a combo deck and we need to get our combo pieces, so that's pretty much the primary reason. As for our lands, it's 4 Snow Islands, 2 Castle Lock Plains, 4 Snow-Covered Swamps, 1 Snow-Covered Mountain, 4 Clear Water Pathways, 2 Temple of Deceits, 1 of the Riverglide, Lava Guide Pathway, as well as the Steel Step Pathway, Blightstep Pathway, aka a way to either get blue or black, or the red if we need to cast Tybalt, and then 2 Fabled Passages. That is the deck. Now, I'm going to warn you, I don't think this is the most optimized deck. You could definitely say this is one of my more jankier approaches, but when the deck works, the deck works. So let's actually play a few games of Vesta 1 on ladder and just show off the deck, because I've been having kind of a blast with it. Okay. And so much tinkering that I made a second variation where I did a little tinkering with it just to make more Gary clones. So let's see how many Garys we can have. Okay, here it's a pretty good starting hand. Kind of looks like your typical Dimir control starting hand. That's perfect. We don't mind. We're going to keep. Okay, our opponent is going down to a 5-card or 6-card hand. Are they going to keep it? They're going to keep it. Okay, so we're going to play Temple of Deceit. We're definitely going to keep Solid coming on the top. We can just play the Clear Water Pathway here, or the Murk Water Pathway if we want to just make sure we get the black mana. Though, honestly, I might just play it on the Clear Water just to be safe, so we can have... Well, actually, no. I can still just do it on Murk Water. Just foretell this, hold it on. Unless if our opponent's like playing a very aggressive deck, then we might just play the Temple and then Blood Cheese first. So we have choices here, which is nice in this deck. That is one thing I do love about this deck, is that this deck does have choices. Because you are playing your typical Dimir control shenanigans. And to inevitably getting into the inevitable funny combo with essentially making a ton of Gary clones. Our opponent's definitely in deep thought mode here. Yeah, if I had to make a guess, they were probably trying to decide whether or not they wanted to go on the Clearwater or the pathway here, so... Or just whatever pathway they wanted to do, whether to go blue or green. Since they're Simic, they might still have some control elements in here, so I think I am actually going to foretell the counterspell here. See what they play next. This could be a variety of things. This could be blue-green ramp. This could also be multicolor shenanigans. Or just blue-green snow. Okay. So that's actually fine, because what we're going to do here is just play the Temple of Deceit, land on top, perfect. I'm going to actually just Blood Cheat first because this is just a good mana dork in their deck. And what it's telling me here is they're trying to ramp. Because usually if you're playing snow like this, you're trying to do ramp. Okay. That's actually perfect. We could play the Solemn Simulacrum here, but I think I'm just going to actually just foretell here. Hold the counter magic or hold the kill spell. Or we could just play Volky here and just do some hand disruption. You know what? Actually, There is also... You know what? Yeah, I'm just going to hold it up. See what they play here. Then I'm going to play Valky, and then we can have Spell Shield to hold it up against targeted removal. Okay, sure. Let's see if they play anything else. Okay, Snowlands. So I'm just going to try to attempt to kill this. Scry 2. Fatal Passage is on top, which is perfect, so... But we could also just use Solemnus and Miraculum. Yeah, I think I'm just going to do it like this. We're going to put the Fatal Passage on top. I'm going to play this. And here's where we get the choice. Since we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, technically going into 6 mana, we could just wait, try to get into 7. You know what? We do have a second Valky in the deck, and if they're playing Snow, they're trying to ramp it to something significant. Like a really annoying Kraken. Okay, how many Snowlands do they have? They have 1, 2, 3 Snowlands. We could just totally disrupt, just take that. There is also just Ascended Spirit, which since we do run Snow, is not bad either. Yeah, I think I just take the Ascended Spirit here. Then we just crack this. Go get the red, just in case if we need it for later. Then I'm going to tap this for black. 1. Pay it. Get ourselves an Ascended Spirit. And we're just going to hold up the counter magic and such, just in case if they draw any removal. If they don't have any way to respond it, then we will just spend the snow mana to make this into a 2/3. I'll counter the bear. We don't really want them to ramp, if given the choice. Okay, so here... I mean, we could see if they want to quote-unquote trade, even though they probably smell the buff. They're thinking about it. So currently that costs about... They have 1, 2, 3. Yeah, they know what we're doing. So in that case, then we're just going to play Sad Robot. We'll go get an island. So currently that costs about... It's technically 10, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So technically 4 minus 10, it costs 8 mana at the moment. If we draw one more land, we could just play Into the Story, just as general card draw here. Okay, that costs now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 7 mana, and they currently are at 6, so we gotta be a little cautious. Oh, perfect. Okay. I'm not going to attack, because there's just a potential that if they draw another Snowland here, they're just going to play the Kraken. And if they do, I'm just going to draw cards. Try to get like a Soul Shatter or something to remove it. There it is. There's the Kraken. Let's draw some cards. Interesting. Okay, so this is technically 12. So we If we can get to 12 mana, we could do a pretty good disruptive play. So we currently are at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're not even close yet. But presuming if our opponent plays their second Kraken post-combat... Okay. I think I know our play here. We're not going to attack in for, well, obvious reasons. They're going to go get some more snow permanents or lands. They get another land of the snow variety. Now the question is, do they play their Kraken now? Do I care that they play the Kraken now? Yes, so I think the play here is... target this. I'm kind of curious how this works. Will it become a copy of Valky or Ascended Spirit? I am really curious to see how this works. Okay, Ascended Spirit. Annoying, but it's better than them having a giant Kraken. So, especially since we can't deal with this one at the moment. So, what we're going to do here is block with this. And the best part is, if they do just, like, decide to pump all their mana into this, we could theoretically bounce, and if we have a way to flicker a Valky, then we can just essentially steal their Kraken. So yeah, we're going to just play Malachite Rebirth on this, or at least attempt to. We'll go get a swamp this time. And yes, we will draw a card. Okay, let's take a look at our graveyard. Currently just a lot of spells at the moment. I think the best play here then is just pump up at least to make it a 2/3 at the moment. We don't have enough snow mana to activate the third ability, so we're just going to go to my turn. Ooh, there's Gary. Okay. We do like to play Gary soon. We're currently at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 mana. So we're close. I do think the play here is we definitely play Gary, since, you know, it drains a little bit of the opponent's life. We don't mind that much. And I'm not going to buff it just yet. Because there's actually some weird approaches we could do with this. You'll see what I mean in a minute. You'll see. You'll see. Now, no matter what, we are not blocking the Ascended Spirit. Because, well, actually, well, there's the second Kraken. Great. Yeah, I think we just only block with the sad robot here. Not bad to get that land out. My plan here, technically, is to just essentially bounce our Gary back to our hand and create 5 fairy tokens. That way we can use it to chump block the Icebreaker Krakens. Another solid coming, though, is nice. But yeah, let's just issue the game plan here. So, another red mana, 1 hit. We're going to spend 5. Bounce our Gary to our hand. See if our opponent responds. And we're just going to foretell this. And honestly, we just passed the turn. Because what we have to do here is we have to chump block the 2 Krakens here with the fairy tokens. So yeah, they're going to make it a flyer. Are they going to pump it for the card draw? If they do that, then we are probably going to chump block that as well. We'll chump block, and we'll chump block 1, because I believe we can at least take 8 for now. Keyword is for now. Oh, that's a good top deck. Okay, first things first. One of those Krakens just need to go bye-bye. And if they try to protect it, we do have solid coming. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can still play Gary here. It still hold up mana for solid coming, so that's perfect. And honestly, we just passed the turn. Boreal Outrider makes sense in a snow deck. Yeah, we're going to solid coming that one. We don't mind them having one of these since we can block it, but 2... No. And that's really annoying. If we could get a targeted removal spell, that would be very lovely. Okay. So chump block, and believe it or not, we're going to chump block with Gary at the moment. Mostly because if we don't top deck something specific here... What I might do is just Agadine's Awakening for 5, return Gary, return Solemn Simulacrum. That helps us ramp, that helps us get another blocker, and helps us drain the opponent just a little bit more. The only catch-22 we're facing now is that if we don't draw a removal spell, our opponent could just, in theory, make an army of 4/4s. So we gotta be a little bit concerned about that, to say at the very least. Besides that, if we don't draw removal... It's not the removal we want, but it is kind of the removal we need. So, plus there's also a nifty trick here, so we're going to play Blood on the Snow, destroy all creatures because no. And, whew. Okay, we didn't win by the Gary clones, but, you know, Dimir control. You gotta love it when it works. Wow, that match took a while. But that was still a pretty good match. Like, that was a top deck board wipe. So, I think I'll try to play one more game. If I can get a second one in, if this one goes quick. But if it goes as long as the previous one, we'll see. And we're going against Mutani, the Hedge Wizard. Okay, that's actually a pretty cool username. Okay. And we do have a pretty decent starting hand. We got Counter Magic, we got Removal, we got our combo piece, and we got Fossip. So, if we can draw it to lands, that would be nice. And we're on the play, so we can play this tap, and we can respond if they play a 1-drop. No 1-drop yet, so we're just going to play this. Going to foretell this. We're going to play this on blue. And honestly, we're just going to see what they're trying to play here. So they're playing islands, and are they playing... green. So, hey, Simic deck number 2. Okay, Simic what, though? Or Temur, okay. Yeah, we will not mind countering a Cultivate there. We're just gonna do this. Because if this is Temur ramp, we really want to make sure that they don't ramp. As stated before, we really want to make sure they don't ramp. So here I'm going to play Fossa here, weirdly enough. Mostly because then we could, if we draw a land, play Grey Merchant, Asphodel, repeat, but realistically, we're just going to play Sad Robot here to repeat the land draws. Interesting. Do we still replay Fossa here? They do have mana for Essence Scatter, so... I think we just have to fish out the counterspell. If they don't have it, okay. I'm saving my Soul Shatter, because usually these ramp decks like to play the Ugin card, so this is pretty much this, and Blood Cheats First is pretty much targeting on our old pal Ugin. Blood on the Snow could also do that too, but we do see some creatures, so we gotta be a little cautious. So yeah, it's pretty much Temur ramp. They're trying to get into Genesis Ultimatum shenanigans. So I feel like our best plan here is actually to ramp ourselves. We're gonna go get another blue. Play the castle. Flicker this. Go get another swamp. And we have, currently at the moment, 2 swamps. As suspected, there's the Ultimatum. Well, on the bright side, they don't have the damage dealing. Yeah, I think the play here is... How many Snowlands do we have? We have 1, 2, 3... 3. So, not enough to do the shenanigans. So... I do think we Soul Shatter here. Just to take rid of our old pal Ugin. Play Gary. and swing in and see if they want to trade with their Edgewall Innkeeper? I did not suspect it as much. So yeah, we're going to flicker this, just get a little bit more lands just to be safe. Go get an island. We already got the red we need for our tippled friend. There's Edgewall Innkeeper number 2. There's Genesis Ultimatum number 2. Okay. On the bright side, I think 1, 2, 3, 4. If they're playing this variation of this deck that I'm seeing here, they might not be playing the Ugin. Because they want to keep their permanents to do card draw and such. Uh-huh. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I do think we play our little friend here. Okay, we got a Terror of Peaks out of them. Good. Okay, so we're going to pause on their upkeep. Keep one of these down. Yeah, I saw that one coming. So they're just going to cast their big... and of course that's lethal. And the hilarious thing is, if we did the Gary there, we actually would have survived. Should have sticked with my gut on that one. My logic was being that if we did the mill strategy, then if they had their third Genesis Ultimatum, but maybe I should have just stick with Gary. Lucky enough that game did go pretty quick, that we do have enough time for one more game, so let's see if we can get some Gary shenanigans. Okay, so this hand is not great, but the problem is it's not bad. We have removal. If we get a land, we have more removal. We can keep this. You could make an argument that we maybe should have shipped the hand, but I feel like since we're on the play, we can go get a swamp. If they play a very problematic 1-drop, we can just Blood Cheese first it. Okay, that's good. So, chances are they're playing a Sultai deck of some sort. Maybe an Ultimatum deck, maybe just Sultai value. We'll see. Hey, Orvar! Nice! Okay. Could also just be Sultai Go. Well, we're just gonna do the same thing. Go, opponent. Okay. We're gonna fish out that counterspell. Yeah, we just passed the turn. Oh, this is awkward. We can take out one of our board wipes here. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Guess our second board wipe, since it seems like a control matchup. Okay, deck. I know there are days where you have to be Magic the Gathering, but, no. Okay, in this case, I think the best play here is actually to play Orval. Yeah, play Orvar. Discarded.
We're doing things my way.
Now, technically we could have copied Liliana here, but I actually would rather really like just having that because we can just get rid of it.
Huh. You only think you've won.
And we pass the turn. If they want to negate it, I don't mind. We're still going to get card resource out of it. Most of the reason... There we go. So we got the second negate out of their hand. They get that. We draw our card, which we don't mind. Thieves Guild Enforcer. Yeah, I think we got to keep it. At least we can foretell this without much sweat, just to save it for a rainy day. And this is where we kinda hope they play a coma, believe it or not. Do you have the Essence Scatter, opponent? Drown in a lock. Makes sense. Okay, more foretelling for us. I'm gonna see if they play a big spell first. I'm gonna see. Negate number 2. Uh-huh. Uh-oh. Ah.
Run now, and I might spare your life.
That feels bad. That was a good key nerf here on our opponent's part.
I don't care about your plans.
Make no mistake, I'm not nice.
We're doing things my way.
They decide to not flash that in. Okay, we gotta fish out that spell. Come on. Didn't negate. Yes, okay. We have a chance. Now, here's the funny play. Mystic Reflection. For 1. Stolen by the Fae for 6. Trying to attack into Tibble because we don't want them to ultimate. And we are not going to bounce. If they had the board wipe, they have the board wipe, but that was a cool play. It's not Gary, but since Lockmere Serpents is pretty sweet. Okay, so yeah, the opponent had the play there, one could say. Lucky enough, we only got him lands. Honestly, we're just going to just discard Poison the Cup.
You think too much.
Oh, thank God. Oh, come on. And our opponent can discard our Stolen by the Fae. Good. This has been so awkward. This is so awkward. Yep. Yep. Well, down to 14 cards. You know what? No. You can have another Elder Fang disciple.
I really don't care about
It is
your
kind of cool that they had the
plans.
trick to Scott Heights, so let's see here. I mean, that is not the land. 7, 8, 9. We're pretty much dead. Yeah, we're pretty much dead. Good game. Oi, at least we had some fun plays there.
We're doing things my way.
So, it was a good matchup. They just had a really good control deck, and them being able to steal a Tibble was kind of like the turnover point. When they sold that, they had a really good advantage to be able to build up their resources again and essentially win the game. So, it was a good game, though. It was a really good game. And we did still have the saucy play of making like a bunch of essentially serpents and such, so that's funny. Unfortunately, no clone of Gary's this time around, but if you want to give it a shot, I'll provide the deck list down below. I hope you all have a lovely day. This is LevDev, signing out. Bada beep, bada boop.